I am G. Chandraprabha, the Assistant Professor of Information Technology. Now I am going to explain computer registers and basic instruction formats used by computer. Okay. First you know about computer register. What is meant by register? Why we have to using that register and type of registers are to be learnt. So first what is meant by register? So computer registers are a storage, memory storage unit used to storing the data, and it will be operating at a higher speed. It's a component of computer CPU processor. So this is a processor, one of the important component of the CPU. It can hold any type of data. That is the data in the form of single piece, that is a single bit, or the sequence of data, that is zeros and zero ones and the continuation of the bits. The registers of the memory, computer memory, it will be used to accept, store and transfer not only data as well as instructions. It will be holding both data and instructions which are to be used by our CPU. So that the computer needing the one processor register, that processor register for manipulating the data, and also having some registers for holding the memory addresses. So okay, now we are going to study about the types of computer registers. The basic, in our basic computing system, which was comprised of 8 basic registers and memory unit and one control unit. What are the 8 basic registers? Which is the accumulator register, AC, which is the symbol used to define the accumulator register. So accumulator register, data register, address register, program counter register, temporary register, instruction registers, input and output registers. These AC, DR, AR, BC, which are representing the symbol which was used for those registers. Now we can see one by one. First we see about the accumulator register. What is meant by accumulator register? So accumulator is a CPU register. This is a processor register which was most frequently used by the processor, so that it will be referred as the processor register. This register can holding any type of data, that is the data in the form of instruction or address or any data. It will be storing the data in the individual characters or sequence of characters. So the processor register, we have to using these processor registers. These processor registers are used to perform the data manipulation within the CPU. So that is, this register is called a general purpose processing registers. Because of them it will be manipulating the data. This register contains, the length of this register is 16-bit length. It can holding the 16-bit data to that register. This accumulator register. This is the most utilized register. It will be storing information which was taken from the memory. So 0 to 15, this is the bits. The least significant bit is referred as 0 and the most significant is bit. The 0 to 15 bits values will be stored in this accumulator register. Next we study about this data register. Along the name itself, it will be having this data register. It will be holding the data, that is the operand. The value of the operand which was written from the memory is stored in this data register. The size of this register is, will be based on the same size as the word which was stored in our memory. For this example, here the memory is storing the 4096 words. Each words are represented by 16 bits, so that the data register which will be holding the 16-bit data to be stored in this data registers. Next, address register. Address register. The address register can only the 12-bit address. In our instruction, we can storing only 12 bits for the 12 bits allotted for this instruction address. So that 12-bit address is stored in a address register. It will be the also referred as the memory address register, that is MAR. The size of the address register is equal to the width of the memory address. Width of the memory address, and it will be have the data values. This address we can store the data values. That data values is fetched from this address and then stored it in the data register. Next, program counter register. Why do we need the program counter register? Because the computer instructions are stored in memory as a consecutive memory locations. So whenever the current instruction is to be executed, the control goes to find the next instruction to be executed. So it was to find the next instruction. So we need a counter to incrementing the memory address. For this purpose, you are using this program counter register. The program counter register is simply called as PC register. It will be storing the address of the next instruction to be executed. There will be also contain the 12-bit length to store the address of the next instruction. Next one, temporary register. The temporary register contains 16 bits. It will be holding the temporary data for while processing. Such as we can perform the operations such as addition, arithmetic and logical operations. The result of the logical and arithmetic operations, the partial result, which is the temporary data. This temporary data will be stored in the temporary register. So temporary register also hold the, it will be same as the data register size. So it will be holding a 16-bit length temporary register. Next one, instruction register. The instruction which was read out from the memory, it will be stored inside this instruction register. It also holding the 16-bit instruction. So our instruction will be having the two parts of our instructions. One is the address part, another one is the opcode part. The address part is you having the 12 bits, but the opcode part has the 4 bits. So totally 16-bit instruction which will be stored in the instruction register. Next, input and output register. This input register is symbolized by INPR. The output register is symbolized by OUTR. Each will be storing 8 bits. It will be input register. It will be receive the character from input device and it will be transferred this input to the accumulator. Output register. The output register will be receive the character from accumulator and will be transferred to the output device. There is no transfer from output register to any other registers. So mainly the computer registers are used to transforming data within between memory and CPU and also processing the manipulating data within CPU by using these registers. Next we move upon the topic computer instructions. So computer instruction, already last video I will explain what is in by instruction and instruction codes. Here I specify only the instruction formats which was used by basic computing system. So what is computer instruction? So computer instruction is a binary code. It will be specifying the sequence of micro operations to perform by the computers. Our basic computer has 3 type of instruction codes, instruction formats to be used. Each instruction format has 16 bits. So 3 type of instruction formats are memory reference instruction, register reference instructions and input output instruction. We can see one by one. First one, memory reference instructions. Memory reference instruction, it will be using the 12 bits to the instruction format which has 16 bits. Under this 16 bits, the 12 bits are used to specify only address of the instruction. In that address, 12 bits are used for address and 3 bits are used to specify the opcode field. This opcode field specifies the type of operations to be performed by this instruction. And then 1 bit which is designated to specifying the address mode which is be denoted by the letter I. If I equal to 0, then this type of addressing is referred as the direct addressing. When I equal to 1, that addressing is referred as the indirect addressing. So here the example 0 to 15, 0 to 11 which is address, 12 to 14 which is the opcode field and 1 bit, 15th bit which is the most significant bit is designated to be specifying whether direct or indirect address. Next one, register reference instruction. Register reference instruction. The register reference instruction can specify the opcode field have the 3 bits. The 3 bits are set by triple ones and then the most significant bit, the last, that is the 15th bit is set as 0. The leftmost bit if the instruction is specified as 0 and the opcode field has the sequence of 3 ones. That instruction is referred as the register reference instruction. This register reference instruction need not to be refer any memory location. Need not to be refer any memory location. Here the 12 bits are used to specify the operation, what operations that can be performed by the data within these registers. It will be specified. Next one, input output instruction. These input instructions also not referencing the memory. It will be recognized by operation code. The opcode field is to specify with the triple one. The leftmost bit of the instruction is specified by 1. Then that such type of instruction is input output instruction. The 12 bits of the instructions are specifying the input output operations. That what type of input output operations that can be performed by this instructions are specified by them. Next one, what is the uses of the computer instruction? Why do we using the computer instructions? The computer instructions are used to perform data manipulation. Yeah, it can moving the data within the computer system, within the CPU and memory, and also from memory to any input output devices, and it will be performing the mathematical and logical operations by the CPU. So it will be called as the data that will be used for this manipulation of data. And then control flow. What is control flow? The instructions mainly help to control flow. Why? Because the instructions are stored in, the instructions are executed sequentially. When we want to change the flow of control, that means we have the control to need to find the next instruction to be executed by satisfying the certain conditions and then jumping to specify the particular memory location. The instructions are will be using the jumping instructions. More jumping instructions are used to jumping, and skipping instructions are to find the used for the flowing control. Flowing, that is moving the control within the program itself. Next one, input output operation. So basic computer instructions are transfer data between computing system and external devices. What it is, the external devices, or it is the input devices and the output devices. That is transfer the data within the computing system or external devices. And then program execution. Each and every computer programs that will be executed by the instructions. So you can specify the instruction which were loading in the form of programs which was loading into the micro instructions. The computer executing this micro instructions to execute the whole program. The last one, it will be mainly used for the system maintenance. So basic the computer instructions which was to perform the system maintenance tasks such as memory allocation and deallocation, interrupt handling, and error correction and detection problems. So computer instructions are mainly used to perform to control all over the computer operations. Thank you.